Picture this: you're eating an ordinary dinner, and without realizing it, you're either helping your body repair damage, or quietly adding more stress to your cells. And here's the wild part: cancer risk isn't only about genetics. A lot of it comes down to what your body is exposed to every day: inflammation, hormones, gut health, and the tiny repair crews inside your cells that fix damage before it becomes something bigger. Now let me be clear from the start. There is no magic food that prevents cancer. No single ingredient can guarantee anything. But major cancer organizations agree on something important: your overall eating pattern can meaningfully shift risk in a healthier direction, especially when it helps you maintain a healthy weight, lowers chronic inflammation, and supports your immune system and gut microbiome. So today, I'm going to share 10 foods that may help lower cancer risk. Based on patterns we keep seeing in large-scale research and expert guidelines. Not supplements. Not hype. Just real foods you can actually put on your plate. And as we go, I'll also tell you exactly how to eat them in a way that makes sense in real life, without turning your life into a diet. Let's start with a category that shows up again and again in cancer prevention research. First, cruciferous vegetables. These are broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale, and broccoli sprouts. They're famous because when you chop or chew them, they form natural compounds that have been studied for how they support detox enzymes in the body and how they may help protect cells from damage. The evidence in humans is mixed. Some studies show protective links for certain cancers and some show no strong association, but overall, they're consistently part of the most protective eating patterns. The simplest way to use them is to aim for a few servings a week, and don't overthink it. Roast broccoli with olive oil and garlic. Add shredded cabbage to salads. Toss kale into soups. If you want a small upgrade, lightly cook them instead of boiling them to death, because extreme overcooking can reduce some beneficial compounds. Second, berries. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, these are like tiny nutrient-dense packages. They're rich in fiber, vitamins, and colorful plant compounds called polyphenol. In research, these compounds are studied for antioxidant and anti-inflammatory roles and for how they may influence cell signaling. Again, berries aren't a shield, but they are a smart part of a protective diet. And the best part? You don't need huge amounts. A handful a day is enough to make berries a habit. Frozen berries count too. Put them in oatmeal, plain yogurt, or blend them with water and a banana for a simple smoothie. Third, garlic and onions. This is the allium family, and it's been studied for years because of sulfur-containing compounds that may influence how the body handles potential carcinogens. Some evidence suggests higher intake of these foods may be linked with lower risk of certain cancers, especially in populations that eat them often. But the key is food, not pills. Large health organizations do not recommend garlic supplements for cancer prevention. The practical move here is easy: cook with garlic and onions as your base. Start soups and stews with them. Add raw onion to salads. Mix minced garlic into yogurt-based sauces or marinades. It's a small daily habit that stacks up. Fourth, tomatoes, especially cooked tomatoes. Tomatoes are a major source of lycopene, a compound that's been studied in connection with prostate health. The research is complex. Some studies suggest benefit, others find weaker links when the research quality improves, but tomatoes remain a nutrient-dense, low-calorie food that fits perfectly into a protective eating pattern. Cooking tomatoes can make lycopene more available to your body, especially when paired with a little fat like olive oil. Think tomato sauce, stew, or tomato paste in your meals. A simple dinner upgrade is adding a homemade tomato sauce over beans, lentils, or whole grains. Fifth, green tea. Green tea contains natural catechins, including one called EGCG, which is heavily studied in lab settings for antioxidant and cell signaling effects. Human evidence isn't a guarantee, but green tea is a low-sugar beverage choice that may support healthier patterns overall. The benefit here may come partly from what green tea replaces, like sugary drinks, and partly from its natural compounds. If you already drink tea, consider swapping one daily sweet drink for unsweetened green tea. If caffeine is an issue, decaf green tea can still provide some beneficial compounds. And if you're thinking about high-dose extracts or supplements, pause and talk to a clinician first. Concentrated extracts can carry risks for some people. 6th, turmeric, specifically the compound curcumin found in turmeric. Turmeric gets a lot of hype, so let's ground this. In lab and animal research, curcumin has shown interesting anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer-related behavior. But in humans, the evidence is not clear enough to say turmeric prevents cancer. What we can say is this: adding turmeric as a spice is a safe, flavorful way to support an overall anti-inflammatory eating pattern. The classic pairing is turmeric with black pepper, because pepper contains piperine, which can increase absorption of curcumin in the body. Use turmeric in soups, rice, eggs, roasted vegetables, or warm milk-style drinks. Just keep it realistic. We're talking about a food habit, not a cure. 7th, fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. These fish contain omega-3 fats, which are known for supporting heart health and for their role in inflammation balance. When it comes to cancer risk, the evidence isn't strong enough to claim omega-3s prevent cancer, but fish is a high-quality protein that can help you reduce reliance on processed meats, and some research suggests fish intake may be linked to lower risk of certain cancers in some populations. The practical recommendation is simple: aim for fish a couple of times a week if you can, and choose cooking methods that don't char or burn it. Bake it, steam it, pan-sear lightly, or grill gently. If fish isn't accessible, don't stress, focus on the bigger pattern: more whole foods, fewer processed meats. 8th, whole grains. This one is big. Whole grains like oats, brown rice, whole wheat, barley, and quinoa are consistently linked with better health outcomes, largely because they contain fiber and protective plant compounds. Strong evidence supports that fiber-rich diets and whole grains are associated with lower colorectal cancer risk. Whole grains help your gut microbiome produce beneficial compounds, and they help keep digestion moving, which may reduce the time potential carcinogens spend in contact with the colon lining. And whole grains also help with weight control, which matters because excess body fat is a known risk factor for several cancers. The easiest change is a swap. Choose oats instead of sugary cereal, brown rice instead of white rice sometimes, whole grain bread instead of refined bread, and add barley or quinoa to soups. 9th, legumes, beans, lentils, peas, and chickpeas. These are some of the most underrated foods on the planet. They're high in fiber, minerals, and plant compounds, and they support gut health in a powerful way. Legumes also help stabilize blood sugar and keep you full, which can support maintaining a healthier weight. If you want a simple goal, try adding legumes 3 times per week. You can do lentil soup, chickpeas in salad, black beans in tacos, or a bean-based stew. If you have digestive discomfort when starting, begin with smaller portions and increase slowly. Your gut adjusts over time. 10th, nuts and seeds. Think walnuts, almonds, flaxseed, chia, pumpkin seeds, and sesame. Nuts and seeds provide fiber, minerals, and healthy fats, and studies suggest nut intake may be associated with lower overall cancer risk, although the evidence is still developing and not equally strong for every cancer type. The bigger point is that nuts and seeds can replace ultra-processed snacks, and they help keep you satisfied, again supporting weight control and a healthier eating pattern. A practical portion is a small handful of nuts per day, or 1 to 2 tablespoons of seeds added to oatmeal, yogurt, or smoothies. Flaxseed is especially easy: buy it ground, keep it in the fridge, and sprinkle it on breakfast. Now, before we wrap up, there's a powerful truth that doesn't get enough attention. Sometimes the biggest cancer risk shift isn't only what you add. It's what you reduce. Major cancer prevention guidelines consistently recommend limiting processed meats like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli meats, and some heavily preserved meats, because processed meats are strongly linked to colorectal cancer risk. They also recommend limiting red meat and focusing on overall healthy eating patterns that are rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and legumes, while reducing highly processed foods and sugary drinks. Alcohol is another important one. Many cancers are linked with alcohol, and less is better from a cancer risk perspective. So if you want a simple strategy that actually works, think in terms of swaps, not perfection. Swap processed meats for beans, fish, or chicken more often. Swap sugary drinks for water, sparkling water, or unsweetened tea. Swap refined grains for whole grains a few times a week. Add a serving of vegetables to at least one meal per day. Build meals around plants, then add protein, not the other way around. Here's a sample, low-effort, day that includes almost everything we talked about. Breakfast, oatmeal topped with berries and ground flaxseed. Lunch, a big salad with chickpeas, tomatoes, onions, olive oil, and lemon. Snack, a handful of nuts and green tea. Dinner, baked salmon with roasted broccoli and brown rice, plus a tomato-based sauce or side. And if you're cooking, use garlic and turmeric in your seasoning. That's not a strict diet. That's just a pattern. And patterns are what research keeps pointing to, over and over again. Let's bring this home. You don't need to eat all 10 foods every day. You don't need a perfect grocery list. Start with 2 or 3 changes you can repeat. Consistency beats intensity. Your body doesn't respond to one perfect meal, it responds to what you do most of the time. If you found this helpful, type in the comments, "I'm starting with," and name one food you're going to add this week. And if you want more science-backed videos like this, simple, practical, and honest, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Next, I can cover the flip side, the everyday foods and habits that may quietly raise cancer risk, and the easiest ways to replace them without feeling deprived.